Welcome to this week's edition of Opinions, Yours, Mine, or with your host, Lon Smith. To voice your opinion, call into the program at 888-721-0074. Now, here's your host.
It's another week, and blessings and greetings to you all. Welcome to this week's edition of Opinions. I'm your host, Lon Smith, and happy to be with you again this Saturday from beautiful Boca Raton in sunny South Florida. Our mission is to share opinions, facts, and truth to encourage and to inform you. Truth is where it's at, not in opinions. If your opinion is backed by fact, then it weighs in. But anyway, I sincerely trust that we accomplish our purpose for this program, and that the message and statements that are made of those that are calling in will be uplifting. Bottom line, look to the Word. Claim it, and that settles it. And look inward. We can always find a lot of answers to our problems when we look inward and look to the Word. You know, today is Saturday. It's the last day of the week. Tomorrow, Sunday, being the first day of the week, the day that Christ arose, and the day of choice of some Christians coming together to worship. Some may choose Saturday as their Sabbath, but God really doesn't care which day we use. It says in His Word that Sabbath is made for man, not that man is made for the Sabbath. The main thing is that we worship Him, and surely every day we should carry in our hearts a worshiping attitude towards our Creator God. The main focus is to worship collectively on your Sabbath, Saturday or Sunday. We have redeemed about 173 days, and we have approximately 184 days, 5 hours, and 55 minutes left until Christmas 2018, just in case you wanted to know. But let's use each moment before we get there wisely. If you would care to call in and share a thought about love between races, because we're going to be talking about the race factor. I think we've got some very interesting things to share, and I'm going to give you a number to call in should you want to chime in. Our number is 888-721-0074. Once again, let me remind you, get your pencil and your paper and write it down. 888-721-0074. Now, today we've got some guests. We've got a guest. He's more than a guest to me. He's a friend and a brother. He's sitting right here beside me in the studio at WSBR in Boca Raton live. His name is Joe Budd, and he's the state committee man for Palm Beach County and doing a great job. Joe Budd, this is great to have you.
Ceylon, great to be here. It's enjoyable. I can see why you want to talk about Christmas. You must take on that character of Santa Claus at Christmas time.
Yes, I know they can see my beard out in Radio Land, and I'm preparing for Christmas time, so they hire me for Santa Claus. But, you know, I have to let the people know that I, as a Santa Claus, I'm a helper. I'm not the reason for the season. The reason for the season is Christ was born, and He was born to die, and He arose. But I love to represent Him in His way. So, Merry Christmas every day, huh? But I'm delighted to have you with us, Joe. And also we have in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a friend of the station, a friend of mine, and his name is Brad Schiff. Brad, are you out there?
I am.
All right.
I'm honored to be talking with you.
Hey, great. And say hello to Joe Budd, Brad.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Brad, I'm from Eastern Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And then we have another friend on the other line from Alabama. We've got all points covered on this show today. And,
all right.
And his name is J. Carl Smith. And you might say, I'm Lon Smith, C. Lon Smith, and he's my brother. He has written a book, and it's called The Frederick Douglass Republicans. And I would suggest that you get this book and read it. And our goal in our discussion is to bring color together, if you will. There's no reason for this hatred that's going out, because red and yellow, black and white, we are all precious in His sight. And we learned that as children back in the Sunday school days of our younger years. And God is not too happy with those of us who call ourselves Christian, and yet we hate someone. I don't care if we're hating Democrat or Republican, or we're hating because of color, black and white, or any other color. God is very disappointed in His children. So, and there's no reason for it. Straighten up. Let's get it right. J. Carl?
I'm here. How you doing, Joe?
K. Carl. I'm sorry. I said J. Forgive me. J for Jesus. But anyway, K.
Right.
Carl, good to have you with us. And where are you sitting today in Alabama?
I'm on the outskirts of Birmingham in the city called Churchville.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you on, and we're going to have some input coming in from around, and we'll be bringing you into that. And I'll sort of point to Pittsburgh or to Alabama as we go along, and we're all going to chime in. Welcome back to this week's edition of Opinions, and we have with me in the studio this afternoon my co-host, Joe Budd. This one's for you. I love his campaign speech or his slogan when you were running for Congress some months back or years back, and that's a great one. We're going to get to both of our guests. It's one in Alabama and one in Pennsylvania. I want to just mention briefly about the song America. It was written by Bruce Dana, and if that doesn't ring your bell, your clapper's broken. It is a moving piece, a patriotic song that can be sung from the heart, and I thank Bruce Dana for making it available. And for anyone that makes a contribution to Nicholas Kamaz's campaign, will get that free digital copy. Just advise us, CAS at CBD7.com. Now, briefly, I want to just give you some information, and I'm going to ask Brad Schiff to give us how his book, which is called God's People, God is Great, but His People Suck. It's a great book, and has a little twist on it. But Brad, how can our people order that book?
Again, I'm honored to be here. You know how much I like you. They can get it off of Amazon by just you can type that title into Google. It'll pop up. It's $15, and I'm hoping to reach 7.2 billion people, which is everybody on Earth. You know,
okay, that's a good goal to have. Yeah. But I wanted to let them know where they could get it, and we've got some questions for you in just a moment. But I want to get to K. Carl. K. Carl, you've got your book, Frederick Douglass Republicans. How can they get a hold of a copy of your book, and how much is it?
The book is $10, and the best way to get a copy, visit our website at LibertyMessengerUSA.org. Again, it's LibertyMessengerUSA.org, and we'll have a link there to the book, or just when you get there, just shoot me an email. I'd love to chat with you and send you an autographed copy.
Excellent. And these are two books that you out there in listener land should get a hold of and read it. Read both of them. You will enjoy it. Now, I'm going to throw a question, first of all, if I might, to Brad. We're going to be talking about race today, and I'll have to say, and listen carefully, I am a racist. I make no bones about it. I am a racist. I am a member of the human race, and that's as far as it goes, and we run strong on that, the human race. And I'm going to ask, and also, J. Carl, if you want to chime in on it too, feel free. But Brad, what is race?
Race? Isn't that something somebody participates running in?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know the definition that society tells me what it is. It's a grouping of humans based on shared physical and social qualities. That's what Wikipedia says. Or it says it refers to a person's physical characteristics such as bone structure, skin, hair, or eye color.
Okay.
But that's man's opinion, which I don't really care about. God has an opinion, and that's the one I care about.
That's the factual one.
Yeah.
And you were sharing with me some interesting information because there's too much hatred in between a lot of things. But right today we're talking about the race, black and white. That seems to be what comes up mainly in color, is they're talking about black and white. But there are thoughts on whether you're red, yellow, black, or white. And you were sharing with me the other day something about color and how color came about as it relates to the equator. You want to share that with the listeners?
Sure. Yeah. One pointed way of looking at race also is by turning it inside out. Just real quick, what color do you bleed, Lon?
R-E-D, red.
Mm-hmm. And somebody from Kenya?
Well, I did know someone from Kenya. They worked in our plant, and it wasn't strange at all. They bled red too. Isn't
that interesting? So on the inside, we're all the same color, right?
Yes.
All right. So on the outside, we have, using the person from Kenya, they are close to the equator. What is generally the color of their features? They're dark-skinned, dark-eyed, dark-haired.
Okay.
A northern Swede is bright white hair, lily white skin, bright blue eyes. And right in between, Middle East, Italy, we have olive-skinned, neutral-colored eyes, some like light brown, and light brown hair.
Well, is the Italian skin color due to the distance from the equator or eating too many olives? Pass on that one. Go ahead.
Maybe both.
Right.
Yeah, it's you can see the gradation from the equator to as far away from the equator that you can get. There are some anomalies in the world, such as the Inuit, but we have to say, well, where did they come from? They're a nomadic tribe that traveled. They weren't always there, so their historic heritage is from somewhere else. Also, we get vitamin D from the sun. That's our primary source of vitamin D. And vitamin D is also in fatty foods such as seal blubber, which keeps a skin tone a certain color. So
okay.
We're really talking about proximity to where the sun is strongest or weakest as to what
the
color
skin color might be,
which shows the absurdity of being a racist.
And blaming our dislikes.
On the tone of their skin is absurd.
Okay. Now, hold that thought, and when we come back from our break, I'm going to ask J. Carl if he has any thoughts or comments on this. We'll be right back. This is Lon Smith with Joe Budd with Opinions. Hold on. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Opinions with Joe Budd and Lon Smith. And we have K. Carl on the phone as well. We're going to put Brad on hold for a moment. But K. Carl, I've been saying J. And K, forgive me. I'm having a senior moment. K. Carl. Carl, you are involved with the Liberty Messenger USA. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, it's in line with what we're discussing already, where it's all about how to articulate a universal language of liberty, where we can get past the issue of skin color, past the issue of this thing called race, and have a dialogue that will be mutual, beneficial for in saving our country and bring racial healing to our country. Because I agree with what's been said so far. And think about it: when the day of judgment comes and we go to heaven, heaven's not going to be compartmentalized, whites over here, blacks over there, and based on pigmentation. It's going to be all of us there get along, have a discussion. But we need to get that together here. There's no reason why we can't. So with Frederick Douglass Liberty Messenger USA website, we have designed a persuasive messaging model teaching conservatives how to engage, how to share your conservative values without the fear of being called a racist or being called a sellout, but doing it in a way where you build a bridge of communication with people who may not look like you. Of course, when we do that, we leverage the life and writings of Frederick Douglass to do that.
Excellent. Now, K. Carl, how long have you been doing this?
Going on 10 years.
Okay, a decade. And what motivated you to bring this factor into your life and into it has become, I guess, a passion of yours?
Well, I guess, there's an old saying that necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
And what happened to me, I just got sick and tired of people, friends and family members calling me a sellout to my community, call me an Uncle Tom because I articulate and advocate conservative values. So over a period of time, through long hours of reading and research, and God pricked my spirit and gave me this messaging model so I could better articulate my conservative values to my friends and family members and do it in a way where I inspire them to vote their values as well.
Well, that's great. And if Joe has any comments he would like to make along the line, I'm inviting him into the circle here to make sure he feels free to.
I met K. Carl, I'm going to say it was 6 years ago, and I heard him speak, and I thought it was fantastic. And I started a Trump club, and as we all know, Trump's been called a racist. And it's something that the media has done, I'd have to say, a very good job at labeling him a racist. But I don't believe he's a racist. We started this club back in February. We meet at the Palm Beach Kennel Club second Monday of every month at 7 p.m. And I called K. Carl back up, I don't know, back in February it was. We invited him to speak, and he spoke at our club last month. And, I called K. Carl up and I said, K. Carl, I said, we need help. The president needs help. I said, I don't really believe he's a racist, but the media is labeling him a racist. I mean, just Tuesday in the Palm Beach Post, front page of the Palm Beach Post, our local congresswoman, Lois Frankel, labels him a racist. He has racist policies on immigration. And I just don't believe that's the case. So I asked K. Carl, what he felt, and if he would come and, talk to us and give us his thoughts and opinions and training on what he does. And we just enjoy having him. He's a great speaker, and his program about the life of Frederick Douglass really tells a huge story.
Well, those that have heard him, I'm sure, are blessed. And, it's a matter of the blacks doing something. And I'm going to suggest, and I know K. Carl is on this boat, and I know, Joe, you're on this boat. And it's called Looking Inward. What can we do to bridge the gap? Hatred is a sin. God despises our hatred for his creation. And we need, as Christians, if you really are, you can't speak with the venom of hatred and really have a good impact. So I appreciate what you are doing, K. Carl, and I'm going to assume something here. Your life is dedicated to this. This is your 24/7, 40-hour-a-week plus endeavor.
Yes, it is.
And it
this
takes
is my ministry.
It's your ministry, and it takes finances to do something. And I want to encourage those of you that are listening that really want to build a bridge and be in the construction business and not the destruction business, and join in with K. Carl in building better relations between blacks and whites. Carl, how can they contribute to what you are doing?
Simply just visit us at our website, libertymessengerusa.org. Of course, you can donate there, like I said, or email us, and we'll love to chat with you. libertymessengerusa.org. And, Joe, I got something new for you. In the weeks to come, we're going to be launching an app, Friends of Freedom app. And what that app will do, they have all the things, Joe, I've been talking about for years, coaching and training and teaching, the life and writings of Frederick Douglass, how to deal with how to respond to the challenges when somebody call you a racist, how do you respond to the challenge when somebody call you a settler or a president of racist. All that content is going to be in this app that we're going to be launching here in a few weeks to come.
That sounds great.
Super. Now we got to take another little break here, and it's necessary. We'll be right back. This is an exciting discussion, and we're with K. Carl, and Brad Schiff, Joe Budd, and Lon Smith. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this edition of Opinions, and we're going to try to make it quick because time is running out so quick. K. Carl, I'm going to ask you a question in just one moment, but I'm going to give Brad Schiff a moment to think about this combined question. What color do you think Jesus might have been, and how are love and race linked together? So, Brad, give that a little thought while I get an answer of a question out of our friend K. Carl. K, let me ask you something. What has been your involvement in relationship to the Trump campaign group and administration?
Well, we got it. We're working on a relationship right now. I met with some key leaders in the White House recently, where we're going to get this messaging strategy not only to the president, but to every conservative in the country, so they can have the tools in terms of an app, a cheat sheet on steroids on how to engage. So that's what we're working on right now, because Joe is right. They attack the president. I do not believe the president is a racist, and that's not even the issue. The question is about the policies, and he's passing pretty good policies where he's improving our country. That's the issue. But yeah, we're working some things right now. We're in dialogue with the White House right now to get this messaging strategy in hands of, like I said, not just the president, but conservatives in general, so we can learn how to seize control of the narrative.
Well, another thought, too, or another question. How can we foster every conservative, God-fearing American? How can we foster more unity in our nation with our black and white brothers together?
I think, as I listened to some of the promotion of your audio earlier, it all starts out of the Word of God. Through the ministry of the Apostle Paul, God has given us the blueprint on how to talk to people of different ethnicities, because the Apostle Paul was called by God and commissioned by God to take the gospel internationally, people of different ethnicities, the Gentiles. And so you read 2 Corinthians, I believe, 1 Corinthians 9:22, I believe, the Apostle Paul says, I become all things to all people, meaning that he knew how to craft his message so he could reach a wide range of people, the Ephesians, the Galatians, because the Apostle Paul is giving credit for writing the majority of the New Testament. So that's the blueprint. And read some of the translation. The Apostle Paul says, I entered their world, and I experienced life from their viewpoint. I think the key to engaging people that may not look like you is to enter their world and experience life from their viewpoint. And when you do that, that's a serpent's heart. Mm-hmm. And you use words that brings unity and cross the abyss that's been put in place by those who want to put us in categories based on race.
Okay.
So the answer is Apostle Paul, not understanding that and leverage the ministry of Apostle Paul in terms of his outreach strategy into the message of conservatism.
Yes. Well, I was speaking to a black African American the other day, a minister, highly respected in South Florida and probably in the nation, and I asked him, because, again, it didn't come down to color. It never has been a matter of color with me, but as Martin Luther King said, it's not about color, it's about character. And we look at statistics, and unfortunately, we see, for various reasons, a high crime rate among the black citizenry. And that's why I say that we need to look inward and to reach outward to them and not throw the baby out with the wash. How do you feel that we can do that on a better scale? Because are we really being successful? And coming to your ministry, how would you rate your success in achieving the goals that you have for bridging this gap?
As a nation, in terms of race relations, we've come a long way in the United States, but we still have a long way to go. And like I said, there are a certain group of people who want to keep race as an issue to keep us divided and keep us at each other. So we got to learn. I think the key thing is we have to master of us a unifying language of liberty that is able to defeat the false rhetoric. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I thought I lost you there for a minute.
Yeah. We have to push forward. We got to master a unified language of liberty, and Frederick Douglass is instrumental for that.
Okay. Well, there's two guys that's on my mind that if the black community, my brothers in the black community, would look at these two individuals, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they would not have a job, and they would not be living in the lap of luxury if they didn't keep this kettle stirred up so that they make their black constituents think they need them. And they need them like they need a hole in the head, because these two guys, and there's many others, that are preying on the ignorance of human nature and causing this hatred and building a bridge for hatred and not building a bridge for unity. And if we can keep the message going out so that the intelligence of the fact that, hey, yeah, these guys are getting rich at my expense, and change the way of thinking, that might help just a little bit. I see the engineers flagging at me. We need to take another short break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're coming into the home stretch, and I believe I have on hold Brad Schiff, that I left him hanging with a combined question about what color he thought Jesus might be and how our love and race linked. Brad, what did you come up with?
I'm colorblind, not physically. I am God-focused and colorblind. Color means nothing to me. God-focused is, what does God say? What color did God say that Jesus was? Well, he only described him two ways. One was metaphorical and said his skin was like bronze and his face shone like the sun. Well, I'm pretty sure that that was in Revelation, but a real description of him was in Isaiah 53:2. For he grew up before him like a young plant, he was like a root out of dry ground. He had no form nor majesty that we should even bother looking at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. Is there any color reference there to Jesus? Well, no. So So if God doesn't care about color, nor do I. And as far as Jesus' color, sure, you can say that he would probably be olive-skinned in the same way that the people in that region are now. Well, it's only logical, but that's extrapolation. It's not something from God's Word, and I'm interested in focusing on God's Word. And here's one more thing. As far as what Galatians 3:28 says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is not male nor female, for we are all one in Christ Jesus. And Acts 17:26 says, and he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on the face of the earth. We all came from the same origin, so this ridiculousness of color and tone is absurd. It does get back to the content of our character, which is what God has already established, and that is God's established His character in us through love.
And bottom line, let's do not give any inch to the devil and let him defeat us. God before us, who can be against us? He loves his creation, red and yellow, black and white. Brad, I sure appreciate being with you this week. We're going to see you on radio again next week. I want to get back to K. Carl and let him finish up here, but you can stay tuned, Brad. But I want to thank you much, and we'll be talking to you during the week, and we'll see you on radio next week as well.
I'm humbled and honored. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother. K. Carl.
Yes.
Okay, we're back to you. We've got just a few minutes left, and I'm going to leave it to you to direct us what you might want to say. Again, contact information so that people can support your ministry, your work, because you're in the construction business. You're building a bridge, and it's one of the best bridges that we can build. So give us just about a minute or so and share with us.
Sure. The website, once again, is libertymessengerusa.org, libertymessengerusa.org. And I just want to leave your listening audience with a quote. Back in Reconstruction, the first 7 blacks to serve in U.S. Congress were black Republicans. One of the individuals was from South Carolina. His name was Robert Brown Elliott. And he has a quote that I want to share with you. And the quote is this. He said, I am a slave to principles. I call no political party master. I am a slave to Christian principles. I don't call the Democrat Party or the Republican Party my master. I'm going to vote my values.
Ah, yes. And I think if we vote God, we'll have a better vision of what to vote for. There's a saying that I like, a good thing to think about, a better thing to do. Join the construction team and not the wrecking crew. So, liberals, get off of your wrecking crew group and start building. Quit tearing down. You have nothing to say, so therefore you are destructive in your words. Become more human again, like you were born to be. And that goes not only for the liberals, it goes for those Republicans that are not really a Republican by the basis of what they believe in. Joe, we just got about a half a nanosecond to say. What would you like to jump in and close with here?
I'll just follow up on what K. Carl just read, the quote there, and I think that's important. I mean, I sit here, come from the political aspect of it, and I just think that there's no room in politics to be separating ourselves and play this division game where we try to always
divided against itself cannot stand.
Where we always try to divide people based upon race or whatever it might be. But division politics, I just think there's no place in that, especially from a Christian worldview viewpoint.
You're right.
I just want to say thanks, K. Carl, for the work that you do. I think it's great.
Thank you, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. This is Lon Smith along with Joe Budd saying good night, God bless, see you next week.